Good afternoon, teacher. My name is Eduardo Lozano. The moment that has shaped me the most is my parents' divorce. Before that, my life felt simple, stable, and even predictable. I didn't question things too much. I thought that what I had would always be there, and I didn't really understand how fragile stability can be. When the divorce happened, everything changed, not only around me, but also inside me. I remember feeling confused, like I didn't fully understand what was happening or how it would affect my future. There were moments when I felt lost and moments when I had to be strong, even if I didn't feel ready for it. One of the biggest changes was the role I started to play in my family. I became more aware of my mom's emotions, and I felt the need to support her. Even if I didn't have the answers, I tried to be present, and that experience made me grow emotionally faster than I expected. It taught me responsibility, empathy, and strength. Over time, I started to understand that difficult situations can also teach us important lessons. I learned to adapt, to accept changes, and to appreciate what I have. That experience didn't just affect me at that moment, it continues to influence how I see life today. When I think about how people describe me, three words come to my mind: friendly, intelligent, and extroverted. I agree with those words, but I also think each one has a deeper meaning in my life. Being friendly for me is not just about being nice, it's about genuinely caring for others. I like to listen to my friends, to support them, and to be someone they can trust. I believe that relationships are one of the most important parts of life, and I try to take care of them. Being extroverted is also a big part of who I am. I enjoy connecting with people, sharing experiences, and creating good memories. I like to laugh, to talk, and to bring positive energy into different situations. However, I also recognize that being extroverted doesn't mean I don't have moments of doubt. In fact, something people don't usually see is that I am also very sensitive and sometimes nervous. Even if I appear confident, there are moments when I feel insecure or overthink things. I have just learned how to manage those emotions better over time. Finally, when I talk about intelligence, I don't see it only as academic ability. For me, intelligence is also emotional. It's about understanding others, reflecting on experiences, and learning from mistakes. I try to grow in that sense every day. One belief that had changed a lot in me is the idea that isn't never too late to start something new. A few years ago, I felt like my path was already decided. I thought I had to accept a certain life, even if it didn't fully make me happy. At that time, I believed that starting again was not possible for me. I felt like I had missed my opportunity. But life showed me that this wasn't true. Seeing people around me continue their education made me question my own limits. That's when I made a decision to go back to study. It wasn't easy. I had fears, doubts, and moments where I questioned if I was doing the right thing. But at the same time, I felt something new: motivation and purpose. Now I feel that I am building something meaningful. I am not only doing it for myself, but also for my family. I want them to feel proud, and I want to prove myself that I can achieve my goals. Another important moment in my life was when I decided to leave my first career. This was one of the most difficult decisions I have ever made. It involved uncertainty, fear, and also possibility of disappointing others. I remember thinking a lot about what people would say or think, but deep inside I knew I wasn't happy, and for the first time I chose to listen myself. Even though I don't regret that decision, I do recognize that I didn't handle it in the best way. I didn't communicate clearly, and I let my emotions control my decisions and actions. That caused misunderstandings and affected my relationship with my family. From that experience, I learned that communication is essential. It's not only about making decisions, but also about how you express them. I also learned the importance of controlling my emotions, especially in difficult moments. One role I play in my life is being emotional support for others. This is something that became part of me because of my own experiences. There were times when I felt alone with my emotions, and that taught me how important it is to have someone who listens. Because of that, I try to be that person for others. Sometimes helping someone doesn't mean solving their problems. Sometimes it just means being there, listening, and making them feel understood. I think that it's something very valuable. Something people don't usually notice about me is how sensitive I am. I don't always show it because I have learned to control my emotions, but I feel things deeply. Because of how I look or how I act at first, people sometimes think that I am serious or even rude. But once they get to know me, they realize that I am actually caring and open. The person who has influenced me the most is my mom. She has been my biggest example in life. She taught me not only academic things but also values. She showed me how to be kind, how to be strong, and how to think about others. She taught me that being a good person is something you show through your actions. Because of her, I want to become a teacher. I want to help others, guide them, and have a positive impact on their lives. I feel teaching is something that it is part of who I am. If I think about the future, one of my personal goals is to learn French. It's something I have wanted for a long time, but I have fully started yet. I think part of the reason is fear of not being good enough or not to being consistent. But at the same time, I know that I have already overcome other fears in my life. So it's something I know I can do if I decide to commit. Also, learning a new language represents growth for me. It's not just about the language itself, but about challenging myself and expanding my possibilities. Finally, if I had to describe myself as a metaphor, I would say I am like a chameleon. I've learned to adapt to different situations, to face changes, and to adjust to what life brings. I can be strong when needed, social when I feel comfortable, or quiet when I need to reflect. But through all those changes, I try to stay true to myself. And I think that it is one of the most important things I have learned. Life will always change, but knowing who you are will help you face anything. At the end of the day, I know I am still growing. I am still learning, still making mistakes, and still discovering new parts of myself. But I feel more aware now, more conscious of my decisions, my values, and my goals. Even though my story has had difficult moments, I am grateful for them because they made me who I am today. Thank you very much.